Why do you think that is?
Because they want to be a cool person and not be interested in stuff that they need to be interested in,
They
like
think it's cool.
education.
So, what do you think is on their minds? What is it they want to do if they don't want to? If they don't think it's cool to be smart, then what do they think it's cool to be if it's not smart? Anybody?
Like they want to be on the streets, doing other stuff like fighting, selling stuff. But then again, at the end of the day, they don't want to go home, do their work and other stuff.
So, do you have friends like that?
No,
You don't have friends. Nobody has friends like that.
I do.
You do. Uh-huh. And they have told you that it's not cool to be smart, it's cool to be dumb?
Sometimes, but I think it's better to be dumb. I mean, I think it's better to be smart because you can become successful in your life.
And they don't see it that way? Why not? When you ask them why not, what do they say?
They was like, I really don't care because my mom would always give me money.
Uh-huh. So, anybody else want to comment on that? Okay, what can we do? I know Nesta has, and I watch her, she has engaged you in sports, and through sports she's gotten you to realize how important it is to, number one, invest in yourself. You gotta think a lot of yourself. You gotta respect others. But after you do that, you gotta invest in your own potential. Right?
Yes.
So that seems like a reasonable thing to do, and I just can't figure out why people don't do that. I mean, a lot of people do, don't get me wrong, but there's a sizable number that get influenced by the so-called streets. Now, if you're not careful, you could be one of those. I was only 14, and I come from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I was cool. I didn't want to be too smart, though. I wanted to be on both sides of the street. I wanted to be with the little roughies, and I didn't want to stay out there, but anyway, fast forward, we were going to a party, and I still remember this, and I was only 14. And I was a good kid, but I was hanging out that night with the little roughies, and somebody got in our face, and we smacked them around. I said we because I was there. I didn't do anything, but I was there. Next thing you know, we got back in the car, and we were talking about what we had done and, you know, how cool that was. Next thing you know, somebody rolled up on us with a gun, a shotgun. I was trapped in the back of the seat with my buddy. The other two that were in front jumped out of the car and ran. And here I am, and I said a silent prayer. I said, Lord, if you spare me, you don't have to worry about me no more with this kind of stuff. And of course I was spared, and I was challenged again. Sometimes they wanted to do all this freaky deaky stuff, and I said, no. And they called me all kind of names. And I said, well, I might be, but I won't be dead. And sometimes, and you will be challenged. I don't care what you say today. You're only 12 and 13. You got a ways to go. And some of your friends are going to call you square, and they're going to say, you need to be, girl, you need to be this. We got this party, we got this, we got that. And you got these boys, they come to you, and the pants going to be down. They ain't going to be they're going nowhere fast. And they're going to be up in your face, and he might be a good-looking fella. And you might say, oh man, I like this guy, right? And his pants gonna be down and he's talking this smack. What you gonna do?
Laugh.
Yeah, you say that now. But you're gonna start making allowances for him. But let me tell you a little secret about boys. We like girls, well, most of us do. And if the girl tell you, if you're gonna talk to me, you're gonna pick up your pants and you're gonna be about something, you know what we're gonna do? Pick up our pants. You know what I'm saying? And if he doesn't, it wasn't for you in the first place. All right? So, give me some insight as to how you think, 12 years old, how you think?
Before they jump in, I want to say all my ladies are blushing, like Coach Phyllis is around, there's pressure, but feel free to communicate with him. He said some really good things, and I want you guys to be honest because we know what some of the issues are, and even when he talked about the fighting and about the trends, and I think some of the things, toughest things that you ladies are dealing with is the need to be accepted. And in our ways, we can identify what it is, we know what it is, but you guys, that's what it is. It's important what your friends feel about you. It's important that you fit in. And we've been there, so we know, even as adults, we go through that. So a lot of what's happening, even with the fighting, you know, a fight breaks out and everybody, oh, did you see that? Oh my God, did you hear what happened to, you know, we were there at your age, and those things were important to us. So when he makes those comments, I want you guys to be able to speak to that and say what it is, because you guys are the voice of the youth right now, and you can express what your true feelings are about those issues. All right.
On that note, I want you to collect your thoughts, and we'll be right back after we take this quick break.
You want to smile and afraid to communicate? This is when you communicate. For you, Anil, this is a good opportunity for you to work on speaking. So I want you to be able to express yourself better, not just stuff. Stuff, I don't want you to use the word stuff. I want you to say, what is the stuff? Victoria, you're very educated. So take your time, breathe, and answer his questions, okay? So likewise, Joy, you know how to speak. So when you talk to him, you don't have to make an answer that makes me feel good. I don't care. You already know. So that basketball answer was more for me. Say what you want.
I do like basketball.
Okay. So good. Express yourself. There's a lot of things about you that you want to share. Devin.
So what are your, I'm gonna ask you, what are some of your concerns? What bothers you about this time in your life?
Ignorance.
How does it show itself?
It's like when somebody like says something that makes no sense, or like something dumb, but like they keep doing it, and like people are telling them that they're wrong, but in their head they think what they're saying is true, and I'm inclined to say whatever they're saying.
And give me an example.
Donald Trump.
Oh well, he yeah. Okay, let's talk about. I want to talk about Donald Trump. Why is it that you think a person with the lack of knowledge in government that he exhibits, why is he so far even competent?
Because he has money.
Well, a lot of people got money. Hillary got more money to put in this campaign than he did. So why is it that people will vote for a guy like this?
Well, some people bribe him with money, like.
Nah, he's got money. He won't be
I
bribed.
mean, like they might.
Do you think some people actually believe what he stands for?
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotta be a lot of people.
Because some people are racist too. So.
Did you do a lot of reading this summer, Victoria?
Hmm?
Did you do a lot of reading this summer?
Hmm?
Did you do a lot of reading? tell y'all the secret when we're finished, okay?
On the minds of 12 and 13-year-olds, that is a very critical age. Well, all ages are critical, but I was having a conversation with a young man about 15 years ago, and at that time, he was represented a group that was acting out and doing things that were totally antisocial and even dangerous to themselves. And I said, what's going on? And he said to me, you better worry about this generation coming up after us if you think we were bad and you ain't seen nothing yet. And so the people that he was talking about was 10, 9, 10 years old. And now they are 24, 25. And that's where the heart of the discomfort is. So don't think that you are far removed. You are very close to being a statistic, unless the older folks come in and talk to you and try to guide you through the storm. Now, there's a reason why people got old, and because they were smart enough to dodge the bullets and get through the muck and the mire of life and able to tell you the story. So when a person that is worthy and that is older come to you, please listen, because I got where I am today because of older folks. And I had the ability to listen. Sometimes I find that people in the so-called millennium generation don't think it's important to listen. They don't seem to realize that at 30, 29, 30, your brain hasn't developed fully. That's why you see young boys jumping in, jumping out, and girls too. I understand that the girls are getting more ferocious than the boys. Now, true that we're talking about a small sect, a relatively small sect, but they make the news, and that's who people write about. So if you want to avoid the statistics, there are some basics here. Invest in yourself. Don't hang around. If somebody's doing something that you know to be deleterious to everything that you were taught, and all your brain matter tells you that this is wrong, I suggest you listen to it and get away from that person, because you might think he's cool today, but tomorrow you think you're the dumbest thing in the world, and which you'll be right on your second thought. So, what do you run into during the course of the day that bothers you about your peers, the people in your age group? What angers you, or what are you most disappointed with? I'm going to go around the table and put the pressure on you. All right. Introduce yourself.
I'm Victoria.
Yeah, it's good.
Some things that bother me is when people give up too easily.
Mm-hmm. Give up what too easily?
Like when we're in class, some people just stop trying, and they might get it eventually, but they just stop and say.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to have a comment on that, but I want to get your thoughts.
When they don't act their age.
I'm sorry,
When
so
they don't act their age.
they don't act their age. How should they be acting, and what makes you say that?
Like some 13-year-olds be wearing full face of makeup.
Oh, you mean they try to be more mature than they really are? Yeah. I'm gonna have a comment on that too.
What bothers me is that I see people in the street walking down with their pants up below their feet.
Uh-huh. Well, let me go back to what I said about this young man I had a conversation with 15 years ago. And he said, Mount Vernon is an imitating community. Means they copy what they see on television and all that. When people don't act their age, I have to look at the parents. I mean, you know, if you got a daughter or a son in some rare instances that's coming out the house inappropriately dressed, I think you better look into that. Because somebody needs to take that young lady. You know, sometimes when their hormones are raging, is this a young lady developed past bigger than the age suggests?
No.
I mean, no, she's just doing that. She's your size and all that.
Can I add something to that, Mayor? Sometimes actually, and again, it goes back to the peer pressures and what's accepted in school. Because I remember when I was 13 and what I couldn't wear, and I remember sneaking and changing. Like I did that. I would leave. I came from a Christian home. My mom didn't want me wearing pants, and I would sneak my brother's pants, and I'd get to the bottom of the steps, and I had one leg in, one leg out. And one day, my dad caught me switching pants, and when I got back from school, all my clothes were gone. And I remember, and it wasn't, and my parents were like, this is what you have to wear, this is it. My mom said, wait till you're 18 to make those decisions, but they enforced. But when I got to school, everyone was doing it. And so I would consider myself a leader then, but I wanted to fit in. I didn't want to have to deal with everyone looking at me because my pants were different from everyone else. I dealt with that. You know, so there are children who pull their pants down on the way out from the house, and the belts come off, and their parents say, you better have that belt on. And as soon as they step out the house, the belt goes in their bag, and you know they want to be down with the pack. You know, so.
You say some people give up too easily. Oh, you gotta take a break. On that note, we're gonna take a break and we're gonna come back and continue our discussion. What do you think about, why do you think that these boys got, some of them, and it's interesting because most boys don't do that, but the negativity that accompanies that stays with you, and if you're not careful, you say everybody's doing it. But if you look at it, very few people do it.
And that's the pants sagging, right?
Yeah.
But think about it, like on our way here, what were you talking about? And you asked Anil, did she have? What did you ask Anil? Did she see that? Or you asked her, did you see the latest? What did you ask her about?
I forgot.
Sneakers, right? Was it
Yeah.
shoes? But what were they?
Down Jordan 12.
Now, Jordans, how much do those sneakers cost?
$140.
And these are girls, I mean, who don't, and they're wearing these. So I think that even the sneaker trend, they pay $140, and you and I make much more money than most of our children, but they come in with those shoes. And I look at it like sagging sneakers. It's still both of them are levels of ignorance because they definitely cannot afford to live at that means, but they're doing it. And it's because people are. It's because it's a trend and it's the fashion. So the fashion and the desire to be in supersedes what we try to explain as adults and the appearance that it gives to them. They don't care. They're living in the now. They want to be accepted. They want to have the latest gear. They don't want to have to explain why their sneakers doesn't have a name, or why maybe they're wearing FUBU, or what's the style that everybody doesn't wear, or Reebok, as opposed to Nike and Jordan. And so that's what it is with the pants sagging. It's a trend. I mean, I see grown men who do it slightly, and you know that they have the little look now where because it's fashion. And so it's something, because I guess choosing whether what you wear is going to make a statement over whether you're going to be fitted to them, that's most important right now. At this point, they want to be accepted. They want to look like everyone else. Looking different, wearing your hair big and stuff as opposed to straight is what's important. I mean, all our children are split images of each other, you know.
We are back and interesting dialogue. In many ways, it hasn't really changed from when I grew up. The style changed when I grew up. We dressed conventionally well. I wore suede shoes back then. I wore bow ties back then, sweaters and all that.
You were preppy.
Yeah, yeah.
See, and your fashion has a label,
yeah.
so we know that you were a preppy
Yeah.
pretty boy.
So, in many ways, so maybe I look differently in all that. When I got to college, we had a look that a college boy, you could tell by the way we dressed, what our station in life was expected to be. Now those lines have been obliterated, and I think because of TV, hip hop, a lot of stuff it's a difficult time for you. It's a very difficult time for you. We have polluted the communities with drugs and guns and a lack of education, a lack of parenting skills in a lot of cases, children having children, a lot of things that you have to deal with. And so I would not like to be growing up in this time facing what you face. But through all of this, every generation will have its, trials and travails and things that will challenge them. But consistent with it, though, is some basics, and that is respect and invest in your own life, education, and the care for self. That is consistent. I don't care what generation you go in. That should be. But now, because remember, you're only 12. You've only been on this earth 12 and 13 years. What could you know? So if you only listen to other 12 and 13-year-old people, you are in serious trouble. Especially if they pick up things that appeals to that generation. And adults prey on you. They will put drugs in your community because they know you have little backup. A lot of people don't have the parents that would check on you. I was, I'll give you a little story. I said I dressed well, and I did. And what I did, but I wanted a cashmere sweater. A good sweater during my day cost about $12, $13. Cashmere sweater cost $26, I still remember. And a few people have it, and I said, I want one of these sweaters. But my mother told me a long time ago, if we cannot afford to buy you, then you don't have it. But if you steal, they're going to arrest two people. You for stealing and me for trying to beat you to death for stealing. And my mama, she meant what she said. If she said she was going to pop you in public, that's what she's going to do. And I knew it. So that kept me in line because I knew I could not hide that sweater because they were stealing to get those clothes. So I had to make a choice. Do I want to go against my mother for this sweater? And I decided, But there are people now who don't have those parenting skills or for whatever reason. And now you're left to deal with people who come from homes that might not have the structure that you come from. And it's tough, but you got to get back to some basics. Remember, I made a choice not to hang out with those guys that almost got me killed. You're going to have to make the same choice. And you're going to have people who have less talent than you criticize you. because they will be working for you as you get older. Because you're going to be the stars, you're going to be the leaders, you're going to be the decision makers. And remember, you are competing with the world. You're not just competing with Mount Vernon, you're competing with people from Asia, people from Africa, people from the Philippines, people from all over. That's going to be the charge. And remember, I go to Chinese restaurants from time to time, and I see the little Chinese kids, they're there doing their homework in that store.
Mm-hmm.
They're not asking for more recreation.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to be people who are going to have the stores. They're going to have, you're going to be working for them. And you can make a choice. You don't have to do that. But it's what's in your head and your attitude, a work attitude. You have Donald Trump talking about, now, this dumb stuff that Donald Trump said. I'm just amazed at how many people who follow this. Grown folks now, I'm talking about grown folks who should know that. He's going to build a wall to keep people out. And he's going to make them pay for it. And people, yay. Well, folks, don't be dumb. How you going to make another country pay for a wall that they don't want? How you going to do that? We give, from what I hear, we give Mexico $56 billion a year in aid. I mean, $1 million in aid. The wall's going to cost billions of dollars. And you think they're going to pay for it? I mean, it just makes no sense, but people say, yay. And I don't think this country works without Mexicans. It doesn't work. And I had my last show, we were talking about black Mexicans. That a lot of people don't understand that blacks are infused all over the world, and people try to pretend that they're not African, but everybody is African. At some point in their life, I don't care how they look,
Right.
everybody is African. So, let's talk about your subjects.
Back to school time. Getting ready.
Okay, what you're going to school now. What are you going to do better than you did before this year than you did last year?
Listen, concentrate.
You're going to concentrate more, you're going to study more. What about you?
Give some specifics in it.
Not entertaining the wrong crowd of people.
You've been hanging around the wrong crowd. What about you? You kind of quiet, but I don't know.
Build my stamina on my reading.
Now, it'd be good, what you do. Only less than 10% of the people that of color are going to go to college. You know that? Everybody's talking about college and all that, but less than 10% of the high school graduates eligible are going to go to college. That means 90% not going to go to college. It seems like we have you here that it seems that you plan to go. Well, at least 2 are going to go to college. The others are going to be
Play a basketball player. But can I tell you something cool that they may not have shared with you? They each probably know at least 2 or 3 colleges that they visited at this age already. And we do a heavy hooping to college program, so they've met players at colleges, and we do that often. So they could probably each go around a table and mention a few colleges already.
Oh, okay. Let's do that. What colleges have you been to?
Iona College and Army West Point.
Army West Point?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
We've been doing it.
St. John's and Iona.
And where did you go?
Iona.
I think you ought to, when you get the time, you ought to go down to historical black college, and I'll tell you why. college for me was a turning point in my life. I had just turned 17 and graduated from high school. And my idea was to go to the Army, because everybody was going to the Army. My mother said, you ain't going to no Army, and because you're too young, and I will not sign for you, and you can't do it. So very early, my mother said that where I was going, and I got used to the idea, and I was glad, of course, that she did. But college was a defining moment for me in my life in terms of the college kids that I grew up with. I still know some of them are very famous. Al Adams played for the Philadelphia Warriors first, and then he played with the San Francisco Warriors, and he was also a coach. And today, I call him every once in a while, and we talk, and he said that any one of the starting five that played for A&T, I went to A&T, could have made the pros, but he luckily made the pros. And he's still humble and impressed. Now this man has done a lot in sports, but he never left it in touch. But we're going to take a break as we finish this show. And he said, you know, I was lucky. And at that time, they were not recruiting from black schools. Sam Jones, who played for the Celtics, was the first Southerner to come from a black, came from North Carolina Central. So now they're recruiting.
It's funny, my brother almost played at North Carolina Central. I know the men's coach there. Current, yeah. I reached out to him. He had a visit and stuff, yeah. And one of the coaches, I think the coach, he knows something from Ernie, the current coach. So I guess I don't know what the history is, but he's a guy I think that's from on this side of town.
Yeah, the schools that in the South were A&T, Winston-Salem Teachers College,
Spelman, Morehouse.